I helped raise my nephew while my sister partied, slept in, and skipped every parent-teacher conference. When he got accepted into college, she asked if I could help out with tuition. I offered $2,000. She rolled her eyes and said, "Never mind, we'll just ask his real family." 2 weeks later, I saw on Facebook that she took him to Cancun. I messaged her in shock. She replied, "It's called a bonding trip. Maybe if you had kids, you'd understand." Now she's demanding I pay his first semester as a thank you for her emotional labor. I'm Mark, 47 years old. I live in Bellingham, Washington. It's quiet here. My house isn't big, but it's home. I work at a local printing shop. I've been there since I was 26. I don't have kids of my own. Never got married. But if you ask anyone who knows me, they'll say I have a son, my nephew Toby. Only he's not really mine. He's Rachel's. My sister. Rachel's 4 years younger than me. She's the kind of person who always has a plan until the plan falls apart, then it's everyone else's fault. Back in high school, she was all about being the center of attention, parties, drama, skipping class. Nothing changed after graduation. She tried college, dropped out, chased some guy across the country, came back knocked up. That was Toby. She moved back in with mom, who was already getting frail. Rachel didn't work. Said being pregnant was a full-time job. Fine. We all helped. But when Toby was born, things got real fast. Rachel didn't step up. Not even close. I came by a lot in those early months. Just to help. Change a diaper here, warm a bottle, do a grocery run. Nothing big. I thought she just needed time. But she started disappearing. At first it was just girls' night. Then whole weekends. Then a full week once. Said she needed a mental health reset and went to Portland. No warning. Mom was almost 70 and trying to keep a newborn calm while dealing with arthritis and fatigue. I started staying over. First a night here or there. Then more. Eventually I just moved Toby and mom into my place. Rachel didn't even argue. She said it was more efficient. Toby was a good baby. Quiet, smiley. I bonded with him fast. I started using my vacation days for his pediatric appointments. Bought a crib. Baby-proofed the kitchen. Rachel? She'd come by once or twice a week, post a photo for Instagram, then vanish again. When he turned 3, I was the one who got him into preschool. When he turned 5, I was the one who taught him to read. When he turned 10, I was the one who sat with him through math homework, his first heartbreak, his first real fever. Rachel never did any of that. She showed up on birthdays and Christmas, gave him a toy, maybe kissed his forehead. That was it. Toby grew up thinking I was just Uncle Mark, but even he saw what was going on. One night, when he was about 11, he asked me, "How come mom never comes to my games?" I didn't know what to say. I told him she was busy, and he just nodded like he'd already made peace with it. But I hadn't. Senior year came fast. Toby applied to colleges. Got into Western Washington University. I was so damn proud. We celebrated with pizza and ice cream, just the two of us. Rachel didn't even call that day. Later that week, I told Toby I'd give him $2,000 toward tuition. It was what I could manage without hurting my own bills. He was grateful, said it would help a lot. Rachel came over 2 days later. No congratulations, no thanks. Just walked into my kitchen like she owned the place. That's it? $2,000, she said, leaning against my counter like she was judging me. I said, that's what I can offer. It's not nothing. She laughed. Not in a funny way. More like she was disgusted. You helped raise him, sure, she said, but I'm his mother. I've done way more than you ever could. This isn't about money. It's about doing the right thing. You should cover at least half. I asked her what she meant by way more. She said emotional labor. You wouldn't get it. You've never been a parent. That was the moment I felt something shift inside me. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just stared at her. She huffed, rolled her eyes, and said, never mind. We'll just ask his real family. Then she walked out. 2 weeks later, I'm on Facebook. There's Rachel smiling on a beach. Toby beside her. Matching sunglasses. Caption. Bonding trip with my boy before he leaves the nest. 2 hearts # mom and son time # Cancun vibes. My hands were shaking. I messaged her. Where did the money come from? 5 minutes later, she replies. It's called a bonding trip. Maybe if you had kids, you'd understand. Don't be bitter. It's not a good look. I didn't respond. Just sat there. That wasn't guilt I felt. It was rage. Hot, slow-burning rage. 1 week after that, she calls me. No hello. We need you to cover first semester, she says. I asked why. She says because I did the real work. I've been his mother. You were just the help. I didn't even recognize her voice anymore. I hung up. Didn't say anything. Just hung up. But that night, I stayed up till 3 a.m. And I made a decision. So here's what I did. I didn't argue. I didn't call her back. I didn't send a dramatic text or post anything online. I went silent. But I started preparing. First, I met with Toby. Just us. We grabbed burgers at a local diner he likes. We were halfway through our fries when I looked him in the eye and said, I need to ask you something serious. He put down his burger and nodded. I said, when you move into college, who do you want on your emergency contact? Me or your mom? He looked confused. Why wouldn't it be you? I said, because she thinks she's the one who raised you. She thinks I'm just the guy who helped out. His face changed, tightened. Then he said, Uncle Mark, you're the only one who's ever been there. You're my family. I nodded. That was all I needed to hear. Then I called the financial aid office at Western, told them I was helping my nephew apply for scholarships and asked if he'd filled out the FAFSA. He hadn't. Figures. Rachel probably thought it was too much paperwork. I helped him file it. Turns out with our combined info, Toby qualified for more aid than we thought. He got some state grants, a small scholarship, and even a campus job lined up. He didn't need thousands from Rachel or me. Not anymore. But I didn't stop there. I knew Rachel loved appearances. She wanted to play the cool single mom on social media, posting Cancun pics pretending she was some devoted parent. So I decided to let her keep playing that role, while I slowly made sure she'd have no real part in his life at school. I paid the deposit on his dorm. I moved him in, bought his books used, and paid the fees directly to the bookstore. Rachel didn't even show up on move-in day. Toby kept waiting, checking his phone, said she was on her way. She never came. He stopped checking after an hour. That night, I took a picture of us outside his dorm. He looked proud. Happy. I posted it with the caption, couldn't be prouder of the man you've become. You've got this son. It blew up. All our family friends commented. Mark, you're an amazing uncle. Raised him right. Real parenting isn't about biology. Rachel didn't comment, but I saw she read it. Then the text started. Rachel, wow. So now you're trying to act like he's your kid. Me, I acted like his parent when you wouldn't. Rachel, you're a snake. You made me look like a deadbeat. Me, you did that yourself. She didn't like that. She started calling my phone nonstop for days. Left angry voicemails. Screaming, cursing, saying I had no right. Then she showed up at my house. It was 7:30 p.m. She pounded on the door like she was the cops. When I opened it, she marched in. You owe me, she shouted. I carried him for 9 months. I sacrificed everything. I said, you sacrificed? You were out partying while I was washing his sheets after he puked. You showed up for pictures, not parenting. She screamed, he's mine. I pointed to the door. Then act like it, or get out. She stormed out, said she was going to get lawyers involved, said I'd regret this. I didn't argue. I locked the door, but I started recording everything after that, just in case. 1 week later, I got a letter from some cheap local attorney. She was threatening to sue me for parental interference. It was laughable, but I didn't laugh. I hired my own lawyer. I pulled up every receipt, every school form I signed, every teacher email I'd gotten over the years. I had proof that I was the one involved in his life. I wasn't trying to get custody. I wasn't trying to take her place. I was just making sure she couldn't come back and pretend she'd done more than she had. And here's the twist. Toby turned 18 a month later. Legal adult. She had no say anymore. About 2 weeks after Toby's birthday, I got a knock at my door. It was early 7 a.m. I opened it and there stood Rachel. But this time she wasn't screaming. She wasn't angry. She was crying. Full-on tears, makeup running, arms crossed like she was freezing even though it was 60 degrees out. I need help, she said. I just stared at her. You need help. She nodded. I messed up. I lost my job. The Cancun trip maxed out my last card. Rent's due next week and I'm short. I didn't know who else to ask. I let out a slow breath. You told me I was just the help. Just a babysitter. I didn't mean it, she said, still crying. You don't know what it's like to feel forgotten. Everyone thinks you're the hero. No one ever sees what I gave up. I said nothing. I just watched her, waiting for her to be honest. Then she said it. I didn't want to be a mom. I didn't know how. I figured if I stayed out of the way, someone would fix it. And you did. You fixed everything. And now he loves you more than me. That hit like a punch. Not because she was wrong. Because she was right.
I told her I'd give her $500 to get her through the month. But there were conditions. 1, she had to stop calling Toby unless he reached out first. 2, she had to delete every post pretending to be Supermom. 3, she had to stop telling people I owed her anything. She looked at me like I'd kicked her. You're punishing me. No, I said. I'm giving you a way out without burning the last bridge you have left. She took the money and left. She didn't say thank you. And I didn't expect her to. But that wasn't the end. 3 weeks later, I got a call from Toby. Uncle Mark, he said, did you send Mom money? I sighed. Yeah. She said she was in trouble. He went quiet for a second. She used it to buy tickets to Vegas. My stomach dropped. Are you sure? He said she posted it. Said she needed a reset weekend. Didn't even try to hide it. I logged on to Facebook. Sure enough, there she was. Poolside, drink in hand. Caption.
Self-care comes first. #Vegas baby. I was done. I called the bank. Reported the payment as unauthorized. Said I'd been misled. They froze the funds. She never got to use them. That night, I blocked her number. Changed my locks. Set a password on Toby's school account. Locked down every door she could use to twist her way back in. And still, she tried. She posted on Facebook about how her ungrateful brother was trying to erase her from her son's life. She messaged mutual friends.
Some believed her. Others didn't. But I didn't care anymore. Because I'd found something. While cleaning out an old filing cabinet, I found a folder. Inside were papers I forgot I had. Back when Toby was 5, Rachel had signed over temporary guardianship to me. She wanted to travel and daycare wouldn't take him without a legal guardian on file. So she signed the form, dated it, and had it notarized. She never revoked it. Technically, in the eyes of the school district and the state, I was still Toby's legal guardian. And that document gave me the right to act in his best interest until he turned 18. Which meant I could make a final move she couldn't stop. I took that guardianship document to my lawyer. She reviewed it, nodded, and said, it's old, but it still holds weight. Want to make it official that she's out of the picture? I said yes. So we filed a statement of fact with the university.
Attached the guardianship papers. I explained everything in writing. How Rachel had abandoned her role, how I'd raised Toby, and how she'd recently tried to use him for money while pretending to be involved. I also added screenshots of her Vegas trip, the Cancun photos, her post saying she needed a reset weekend, after begging me for help. I didn't embellish. I just laid it all out. And then I forwarded a copy to her. Rachel exploded. She texted me 27 times in one day, called me a traitor, a thief, said I'd poisoned her own son against her. Then she crossed a line. She showed up at Toby's dorm. He texted me while it was happening. She's here. She's crying, yelling in the hallway. I told him to call campus security. He did. They escorted her off the property. That was the last straw. My lawyer filed for a restraining order. Not for me, but for Toby. He agreed. He was 18, and after that dorm incident, he wanted legal distance. The court granted it. 6 months, renewable. She was not allowed within 500 feet of him or his school. She violated it 3 weeks later. She sent him flowers with a note that said, I'll always be your mother. He can't change that. Toby reported it. Another court date. Another warning. Then she made the biggest mistake of all. She tried to forge a FAFSA form to make it look like she was still his guardian. She used old documents. Submitted it online. The school flagged it. They called Toby and me in. The financial aid officer was pissed. Said it could have gotten him in serious trouble. But we proved it wasn't him. The digital signature, the IP address, it all traced back to Rachel's apartment. They reported her. And that was it. Rachel got hit with fraud charges.
Not jail, she wasn't that stupid, but she got fined. Lost her job for good when the story got around. Her name was mud in every circle she used to brag in. Toby stopped speaking to her. She texted me once more after the court hearings. You destroyed me.
I didn't reply, because I didn't need to. She destroyed herself. As for me, I still live in the same house. Still work at the print shop. Toby's in his second year now, doing well. He comes home on weekends sometimes. Calls me when he's stressed or when he gets a good grade. I don't push. I just answer when he calls. He gave me a card last Christmas. It just said, "Thanks for being the dad I didn't get. You never made me feel like a chore. You made me feel like I mattered. I love you."
I keep that card in my drawer. I don't tell people this part much, but I'll say it here. I did make mistakes. I should have drawn harder lines with Rachel sooner. I should have stopped helping her after the first lie. But I kept giving chances, thinking she'd change. She never did. She saw love as leverage. I saw it as responsibility. And that's the difference. She wanted credit. I just wanted Toby to be okay. And now? He finally is.